We are always trying to get the information out to the public in the best way we can.
The Minnesota Department of Health updated its fish consumption guidelines, looking at data from a public health perspective.
The updated guidelines we have were mainly focused on getting attention out to the communities where we know PFAS is at higher levels in the fish.
There was an advisory issued in 2021 regarding smelt in Lake Superior, using a preliminary study done by the Wisconsin DNR. More recently, the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency has done a larger study.
We collected over 150 smelt samples in a number of locations on the North Shore and just confirmed that there can be PFAS present in the smelt, but at much lower levels than that preliminary study showed.
The guideline used to be to limit smelt consumption to one meal a month.
Now we can recommend that people eat up to one serving a week.
You can now eat smelt caught in Lake Superior more often. However, there are still levels of PFAS to be aware of. MDH is now advising those in sensitive groups to not eat fish from Miller Creek, Fish Lake Flourish, or Wild Rice Lake.
With our new analysis, we have additional data, and we've also lowered our thresholds to provide guidelines. We are recommending that people who are or may become pregnant, and people that are breastfeeding or may breastfeed, and children under age 15, who we all consider sensitive populations for contaminant exposure, not eat fish from these water bodies now.
Those not in a sensitive group are told to limit their consumption to one serving a month from these 3 lakes. But how did PFAS enter these lakes?
In this case, these water bodies have been impacted. A number of years ago, it was determined that there is a location near the Duluth International Airport where PFAS products had been used and contaminated the groundwater and some surface water systems, particularly Miller Creek.
Keith Nelson, the District 6 Commissioner for St. Louis County, points to another source.
It certainly is closely related to the old closed Duluth landfill. And, you know, the streams in both directions, both north and south, from that immediate area are affected.
Nelson has been worried about PFAS in our waterways since he first learned about the issue 9 years ago.
Look, when we're saying that no one should eat fish that's in a sensitive group from that chain of lakes or from that stream, this is northeastern Minnesota. We're pretty proud of our fishing heritage. We're pretty proud of our environmental heritage. To have that there, we need to do something about that.
The county hopes their Canyon landfill project will help reduce the amount of PFAS coming from landfill leachate.
What we need to do on all of our dumps, our region's dumps, which there's 190 plus of them, what we're talking about is putting them into a lined facility at the Canyon facility. It would be lined to the extent that it would be completely protected from ever permeating into the environment again, and as a lined landfill, it would also have water treatment.
This is a continuation of work started at the Virginia landfill.
Our landfill up there, of course, is already fully lined with the best material you can line a landfill with. And we're working to have a situation where, again, all of the water coming out of that landfill will be completely treated.
This will help prevent PFAS from one source from entering our waterways and eventually the fish we eat. But MDH says it's important to know that fish are not the only route of exposure.
We do know that household products, personal care products, and other environmental exposures exist in our homes and in our environment. The state's been very aggressive about getting PFAS out of products. And that's going to be what really benefits our fish consumers too in the long run.